Hello, Indian Country. Welcome once again to our live webcast here, our second episode here. We are in Carnegie, Oklahoma. Sounding okay? Okay. And me and you'll just pass this microphone back.
I want Daniel to sit in here too. He's coming right here.
Okay.
He's coming right here waiting for me to get here.
We can go ahead and start.
And after I get into it a little bit, and I'll introduce you, then ask you about the 49, history of it, how it came about. You can just go from there.
Okay. Sure.
And he was wanting to know about that starting song too, where it's like we're just visiting.
Yeah.
Like we're at the 9. God.
We don't want to be at the 9.
I want to go there yet.
Yeah, girl.
Might not ever leave this place.
Trying to make a chip in, make a run.
Yeah. It's that store open. Yep, right there.
I was just telling him, I said, when I remember, I went to 49, dad joke, just reading it while we were out the door together to see what you guys say, cool songs. How old is that?
If I'm not mistaken, I think you won that first one at Stroud.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was the medicine at that time. It was in our prime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to down. Yeah. Remember the year of it? Oh, is it the 90s? 90s. Yeah. Is that one?
I was going to set the drum up too to kind of get the drum in there. Okay.
Put that drum right there.
I was sitting in there. They had come up with the rodeo and stands. I was sitting there. Stayed and watched. Man, you got one? Everybody was just shocked.
They're good.
Just those songs.
Yeah, I didn't get to get my dry erasable, but it was play it by ear.
Yep. We got it.
I wish I would have had a
We know what to talk about. And
Oh, yeah.
this has got purple in there in it.
Okay, you guys can start talking.
One more drink.
Ah,
God, we'll say drink at the 9. There. Get us started. Be here at daybreak.
Yeah, one more pull.
One more pull. Send somebody to the store. Where's Kenneth at?
Hey, Everett, is it on YouTube now?
it's on right now.
Okay, I'm gonna let everybody know.
Hey, you can put that drum right.
I'll start talking and welcome everybody to the show, and then we'll just go from there.
Okay.
Dad talk about, kind of our dads talk about
Yeah.
history of the 49, and how it came about, and
Yeah.
whatever you want to talk about,
Oh, I was gonna tell everybody to tune in then. Right?
Oh yeah.
Do this here.
Is there a link?
It's on that. It's on my Facebook page, but
What, QR?
yeah, that QR code. If you could tell everybody, that's what I'm trying to do too. So.
Or you can just go to Facebook.
Moremultimedia.org.
Moremultimedia.org.
Okay, you guys are live. Been live.
Okay, ready? All right. Hey, good afternoon, good evening, Indian country. And we'd like to say we're glad you're here. We're glad you came back for our second episode. And come on in, make yourself at home. If you tuned in here tonight, then you are family. So come on in, take your shoes off, get you something to drink here. We're getting ready to have a very good show here tonight. We're very fortunate here to be sitting here with the Cozad family drum. And have some of my uncles here, my brothers here. And we're going to talk about 49 singing, 49 songs. And when the show first originally aired, it was Into the Circle with RG. And we were going to speak with fancy dancers and dancers that, know that feeling of being in the spotlight, dancing and the relationship with the drum and the dancing. And then as we got to visit with Everett there, he said, well, let's open the show up and bring in some other all kind of guests that are around the whole circle. So we wanted to bring the Cozad family here, and they were wanting to record a digital album here today. We're going to get Oklahoma, and we're going to record a digital album here, the Cozad family, and we're going to sing some 49 songs. And we're going to with that here this evening. Very fortunate to be here. I'm real happy to be here. And we're going to interview some of our singers here, some of our uncles here, and our brothers. And we're going to talk about 49. A lot of times we go places and guys sing, at the powwows of 49. A lot of them don't know where it originated from. They don't know what they're singing, but we're glad they like the music, and we're glad they're singing. But we wanted to share a little history with you here on our show here in the spotlight with RG. So I want to turn this over here to my dad here, Joe Fish DuPoint, and he's one of our singers that's been around for generations. And speaking of generations, one of my other uncles said that we wanted to do this. Our late grandpa wanted to do something like this to preserve the songs, preserve the history of the drum, the dancing. Because we have little nephews and little grandsons, and we want them to know how it really is, how it really was. And we're very fortunate today to be a part of this and be a part of the singing and the recording here. So I'm going to turn this over here to my dad here, Mr. Joe Fish DuPoint.
Oh, thank you, son. First of all, I want to say welcome to our tribal headquarters here in Carnegie, Oklahoma, the Kiowa tribe of Oklahoma. And first of all, I'm glad that I could be here. I'm going to tell you what little that I know of how this originated, this 49 that we call nowadays. Well, back in what I've been told is that it's kind of more or less like a war journey. And what I mean by war journey, I guess back in the day, from what I was told, was that I guess we had different raiding parties within the camps or wherever we were. They were getting ready to go on either a horse raid or revenge raid or captives, to get captives. Well, at that time, I guess whoever was leading, they would go to the different camps and they would ask the different warriors if they wanted to participate or they wanted to go along with them, and they just kind of more or less left it up to them. And so with that, well, then they'd all gather and then they'd get ready, and then he'd go over to his camp and say, okay, now we're going to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to pray that we have a successful raid or whatever our what we're going to set out to do is going to be good. And so with that, well, then they would go, they go into their prayer and all this and that. Then they would get on their horses and they would get ready and they would leave camp. And so with that, well, then they would start singing these songs, war journey songs. They would sing them, you know. And at that time, we didn't have the English language. So with that, well, then they would just more or less, I guess they would just kind of be vocables. They would be tunes, and they'd sing these songs, and they'd be riding out of camp. And then so with that, well, the families that they left behind, of course, they would be worried about them and that and all this and that. So they would be praying for them that they would be successful. All right, they went and they did what they did. So when they came back into camp. Well, they had many horses. They had a lot of captives. Maybe they had war trophies that they had when, for whatever purpose it might have been. But they would come back in and they would be singing these songs. And at that time, we didn't know anything. Our missionary, our English language, we didn't know anything about that. So it was just tunes, and maybe they would have our own Kiowa language in these songs. And so with that, well, they would come back in, and then the women, they'd go out to the edge of camp, and they would meet them there, and then they would lulu. And if they were victorious, well, they'd do a scalp dance or they'd do a victory dance. So this is how then later on, after we signed the treaties and all this, and we settled down, well, that was kind of more or less the end of our wartime, I guess you would say, until the First World War came. Now, I'm going to only speak for the Kiowas because at the beginning, there was 5 tribal members that signed up. They joined the military. And then there was 10 that were drafted, so that was 15 in all. And so with that, well, then they would have, I guess, one-day dances or whatever when they get ready to go to boot camp or they got ready to leave. And then so they would do that, and then they would pray for them that these boys they'd have to do whatever time that they had. And then at that time, that's what they sang these war journey songs for those boys. And it's just the reason why I'm saying this, my grandfather was one of them. He was one. I had 2 grandfathers that went. And so they went over to Germany. They did what they had to do, their time and all this and that, and then they came back. But right here in the town of Carnegie, there was a train depot. At that particular time, there was, I'm going to say, every Kiowa that was in the county, I guess you'd say, or in the state of Oklahoma, they came home just for that one reason, that these boys were going to come back and they were going to come back home. And so with that, well, then when they came in and the train pulled up and it stopped, well, the doors opened up and then there they were. They came out, and when the people first seen them, the women folk, they lulued. The men, they hollered because they were thankful that their warriors came back. The men came back as warriors. And so with that, well, then they took them out here to west of town here to, it was our last chief. His name was Opitone. And they said, we're going to go out there and we're going to dance. And one of my grandfather was Opitone's nephew, and Opitone's son was my other grandpa. His name was Lon Colvin. All right. So they went out there and they had a big encampment. I mean, I'm gonna say, I guess every Kiowa was there that was there, and they were in celebration because of these gentlemen, that what they did over there. All right, and then that very flag, we fought against that flag, but these men, they went and they defended that flag because of us, that they left us back here at home to persevere. So with that, well, then this old lady, her name was Mattie Miyako. What she did, she told them singers at that time and said, hey, so before y'all start singing and everything, the United States has their national anthem. Well, there was a song that came to me, and the tune that came to me was a scalp dance song. And so with that scout dance song, she said, I put words into it. And what I did, I talked about this flag, this very flag here. I said, raise it up. Tanka o tago. Taiga name behago. Raise it up in a nice, dignified way. The war is over. And let's be happy. That's the words that's the transition, and that's the words that she put into that song. And from that time, well, the tribe, the elders at that time, they said, cool, okay. So from that day forward, that's going to be our national anthem. United States has theirs, but we Kiowas, that's what we're going to have. So that's the story that was told to me, and it's just that I'm happy that we're here. And so with that, well, then we came on these war journey songs. Okay, even at that particular time when these guys, when they went over there, well, the Second World War, well, okay, with that, well, then the women folk are the ones that had it the hardest, because the mothers and the grandmothers had to see their sons go over, face the enemy. And they would always, when they fix breakfast or they wash dishes, when they do their housework, they're always praying. They're always mumbling something, but then that's what they were doing. They were praying, God, bring my son back, bring my grandson back, bring our boys back. And so with that, my uncle out here, well, my grandpa, Louis Toibo, different tunes came to him, and he see his women folk, his relatives, how they would cry and all that. And these tunes, they would come to him, and then he'd put these words to there. So from that's where these War Mother songs, they come from. And that's the reason why I'm glad that we're doing this and everything, because you younger ones, you'll have to carry this on, because we're not going to be here too much longer, I guess I'm going to say. But with that, that's something that we're going to leave here for y'all to understand where all this stuff come from. And then later on, in the 50s, well, we used to have our what we call the American Indian Exposition, our Indian Fair, and it started down here at Craterville. And so with that, well, then they used to all gather down to Kiowas, Comanches, and Apaches. They would gather there, and then they would have their celebration and all that for a whole week or whatever. Well, then they moved. They moved it up here to Anadarko. And okay, we are at the Caddo County Fairgrounds, and behind the grandstand there's a big old field out there. Well, then they used to do their program, their dancing at night, and then later on that night, well, then they would go behind there, and they would have at that time they would say, let's go back there and we'll have war journeys. So they'd sing these war journey songs. And then so with that, well, then in the front of the grandstand there was a carnival that came. And when this carnival came, this guy, he'd get up there on the stage and, hey, you guys, come on in. Come see the girls of 49. Come see, and there was these dance hall girls, scantily clad and all this and that, but those Indian guys, they would be standing back there in the back, and they just kind of, one would come out and they said, is that what's back there? I want to go see. So what they did was they all chipped in and gave this guy enough money to go in. At that time, it was just a nickel. So I guess maybe there was about maybe 5 of them or whatever. They give them 5 cents, penny a piece, I guess. So he went in there, and then well, naturally he liked what he seen. So when he got there, he went out there and he went back to his group there, and they said, "Well, what did you see?" He said, "Oh man, So he was explaining it to him in there. So after a while, there's another bunch that went on in there. That's what they sing, And so as they went on back there behind the grandstand, there they were 49ing. Well, they were doing their war journeys, okay, and so they took a break. I mean, there was just a massive. I mean, if you guys would have been back there, I think there's just a few of us sitting here within this crowd that's seen that. How it used to be back in the day. But I mean, there was just to be maybe 5 49s or five 49s going on around there. but there'd be one main one right in the middle of the whole thing. And they'd be at least 10, 15, maybe 20 deep. And so with that, they said, well, let's take a break. Let's take a break. And so they would take a break. And I guess they was taking a break at that one time, and they were standing there and everything, And so the guys, they were there. There's part of them that went into that dance hall there, and they seen the girl. They were chorus girls. They were standing over there on the side, and they said, "Hey, check this out. Hey, y'all come on in. See the girls of 49. They're all standing right here." And naturally, them women, they got they got shamed and all that. So what y'all getting shamed for? Y'all. So right there, just because of that, that's where the term 49. That's where it came from, and from that time, it stuck. It stuck. And so with that, well, then that's why they would always say, well, all right, we're gonna 49. Later on, that's when they would say, well, that's 9. Well, we're gonna 9, So okay, so that's where 40. That from what I was told, that's where 49 came from. And so like now, okay, now I'm gonna say this: 49 isn't all partying. It's not all partying. Okay. Well, I'm gonna admit, back in the day, I was one of the main characters that was there. But now I see what it pertained to and all this, and I guess if that's the way you have to have your fun, well, I guess more power to you. But then I found out there's other ways of having fun. There's other ways of enjoying it. And so with that, but then nowadays, we go, and then I'm going to say my brother, Millard Clark, later on, he came around and we started singing with one another and everything. He knew a vast knowledge of songs. I knew a vast knowledge of songs. My brother, Larry Cozad, my brother, Bubba Noel, that we all came together, and then we put out, I'm going to say, the first recording, I guess you'd say, of modern day 49 singing. And then later on, we put out another volume, and it was round dance songs. And with those round dance songs, we put the English language into those songs. So with that, that's where they all that music came from. But then again, it was just vocables. So with that, that's little I can tell you. For right now, I've got others, but I'm gonna turn a little time over to my brother over here, Saint Kente, Daniel Cozad.
On the whole, you heard the history of our Goodall, the 49, and he's my brother here, Dr. Phil Raymond DuPont. He's pretty knowledgeable of all of our our music, and from all our let's say like Tong Konga, Dai Pego, and even through around his big drum, and also with our Kawa church hymns. He's pretty knowledgeable of that, as well as our Native American church. And with everything that we do with our tribe and customs and our culture, and he's there. And I admire him, my 5E, Dopoi. And I got a lot of love and respect of him. He's pretty knowledgeable. And we just kind of like grew around this drum and music, and all you good, wonderful people got to come over here to witness what's going to take place, and of our war journey songs, and how the history of it up to now, and even to the future for our younger generations, what they're going to hear, what they're going to see, and preserve and hang on to what we have. And with that, it's all over here in the United States. every tribe they get the hang of this drum and this music, and that's what it's for. You know, to feel good. You know, that good spirit of this music. Because after all, our Creator, Almighty God, gave that to us as poor Indian people, and we share with one another, and through that we'll all make relationship, and it's a wonderful feeling and another wonderful evening that all your relatives got to come over this evening to witness and enjoy yourself. And I thank Mr. Everett Moore for your setup here, and what's going to take place, and all the singers, and we're going to just enjoy ourselves this evening because we want to bring that good spirit in. And I thank my son Kenneth Lester Cozad here, my nephew R.G. Harris, and my 5E, Dr. Phil Raymond DuPont, and all the relatives here today. So he explained it pretty good where the way it was told to us, and we just kind of grew up with it all them years, and now it's come to like a reality where we share with our each generation, young and old, and it's going to be a wonderful time, wonderful evening. And if that's about all I could say. You know, we're all going to enjoy ourselves this evening. So with that, on aho. God bless us all. Aho.
And also with that, I want to acknowledge a couple of people. I want to acknowledge the late Kumsa family. They were very, very knowledgeable in what I've told you. They related it on to me. My uncle, Bill Kumsa Sr., Bill Kumsa Jr., I really want to acknowledge them. Martha, they were knowledgeable. They told me all these things. And I had an uncle. His name was Raymond White Buffalo. He was very, very instrumental in my life with this singing. And I want to acknowledge him because with one time we was at the fair. I got to tell this story. We was at the fair, we were camped, and he knew if he took me out there, well, then everything would be all right, because he asked my mom, his sister, he said, I'm going to take both they with me. I'm going to take my Segi with me. She said, well, you be careful. You don't take care of him now. I said, oh, you'll be all right. I said, come on, boy. So then he grabbed my hand, there we went. And then we got out there, and there was a multitude of people. That's the most most Indians I ever seen in my life. But anyway, there I was, right in the middle of them. And then I guess there was a song that they couldn't find. They was looking. They would say, "Sing this one, sing that." And then he said, "I lost it. I can't find it." And then he looked at me, and I could. He was going to ask me, and I already answered. I know it. Start it. So I started that. And man, talking about. I mean, I think I was holding my pants up because I had so much change in my pockets, you know. And then, man, I had all kind of Cokes and, soda pops and all that. And I had cotton candy. Oh, man, I had apples and candy apples in my pocket, man. That's because of my uncle. Because right here in the city of Carnegie, they had what we call the gunslingers. And they were young men that would sit around the drum and everything. And their deal was like during the gourd dance, when we gathered down there at the park, well, they'd have 10 hand-picked singers, 10 of them. And with that drum was closed. But that night, it was intertribal, so anybody could get out there, and they'd have about 2, 3, 4 drums lined up. And then these boys, they'd be sitting there, these gentlemen and all that, and then they'd turn around dance singing over to them. Man, I mean, like the Taos people, they would always come down, they'd bring songs to these guys, and they knew that they were singers, and they would sing these songs to them. And so with that, well, then I always say the Pueblos, the Taos people made the songs, but it took the Kiowas to perfect them. So with that, they'd put this spirit in it. It was just their singing. that they had, you know. And so with that, that's why I like we still got that relationship going on. But even though there's not very, very many, maybe one or two that I know of the Taos people that are still here, and then, well, I guess we're the tail end of it. Me and my brother here. So with that, you know.
Oh, good. Thank you, Dad, and Segi, thank you. And I want you guys to know that I'm really honored to be here today. You know, and thank y'all for being on the show here today. And I've already learned some history already. You know, and I know that's what my brother here wanted to have this recording for. You know, for the ones coming up behind us. You know, so that they'll know the real stories, how this song and the singing has evolved. You know, to where it's at today. You know, so I'm very fortunate to be here, and I want you guys to know that I'm glad to be here today, and thank y'all for coming on the show here today and talking about the 49. And I've never been to one, but I heard it's a pretty good time, you know. God damn, I'm lying in it. Yeah, one of my nephews here, boy, he told me, he said, man, when you first started emceeing, he said, man, you were boring. He said, man, talk the way you always talk. So, boy, he gave me the green light, boy, Mike Whitecloud. So now when I MC somewhere, boy, I'll just talk any old way, boy, to entertain the people, you know. So got to make them laugh, you know. And that MCing is, that's a tough job, you know. You got to entertain and keep the powwow going, you know, and
You got
let
to
everybody
lie.
know what's going on and tell everybody where the 49's at, you know. And, boy, right around in this community here, Indian country, boy, we got some very famous 49 sites, boy. God damn. Greg's Corner, Moonlight Mile.
Cornbread's Corner,
God,
Four Corners.
God damn. We
Those places could talk.
Damn. Probably sometime at nighttime, boy, then you can hear that drum over there, boy. God, dogs. But it all started at High Nine, all that.
Oh, yes.
That's where we all
yeah.
met, boy, and gathered up and made a plan.
That was the
Damn.
Any time when you go to a powwow, major powwow, whatever, you see so-and-so there, well, ask them. Ask them, because I used to always get asked, what you going to do tonight? Where you going? So, well, I'm here. And I tell them, I'm going to go home. They say, quit lying. They use two fingers. When cows, they use two fingers, but when they look at me, they go four fingers. So that's a double lie.
You really lying.
Really lying, yeah.
Yeah, they know who to ask, boy. They'd always ask the singers, you know, where y'all going tonight? And it'd be like a caravan, you know. Well, if you didn't know where the 9 was at, boy, you just follow that caravan, get in line, boy. Dang, go over the hill there.
And the thing about it is, if you park right, like over here at Four Corners, if you go there and you park right in the intersection, you ain't never gonna get out until that next evening.
God.
Yeah.
You're blocked in.
Yeah, you're blocked in. Same way out here, they call it Greg's Corner. You go there and you park right there on top of that hill where everybody else want to park. There's about 2 miles of cars down south, 2 miles of cars down north. Man, that's the only way in and out is that north and south. Yeah.
Yeah, we were pulling in earlier, Dad, and boy, we could have took that other way, you know, but man, we cut across, you know, and start driving across that gravel. I told my wife, I said, God damn, that's a sign, boy. Said we're going to sing 49 tonight, boy. We're driving on that gravel, boy. Damn, dust flying all over the place, everything else. It's a sign, boy. Yeah.
Used to like it for them city people when they come down from city, Tulsa, well, them suburbs, you know. They come down here to good old Carnegie, but next day you can't even recognize their tags or the cars.
Yeah. Hey, with that, you know, my brother here, Kenneth Cozad, you know, and boy, we've been brothers a long time. And my late father, you know, Ronnie Harris Sr., you know, he had a good relationship here, you know, with my uncles here, and you know, through the powwow and through the peyote meetings, you know, Sempies, you know, and that's how these guys became my dads, you know. And when he left, you know, well, they became my dads, and that's the way it carry on, you know. That's the way we are as Indian people. So I don't feel lonesome, you know. I always be around them. So that's another reason, you know. I'm glad I got to be here and sit around them. You know, it's a good blessing, you know, good feeling, you know, for me, you know, to be around them and hear this history, you know. And it's good that our young people is going to hear this, you know. And like you said, well, 15, 20 years from now, when they get this digital recording, they're going to hear the real story, where it came from, and I'm going to be able to say, well, I was there that day, me and my wife, we was there, and we ate some good hamburgers, and man, we got to sit around the drum, and this is where it's at right here, the way I was told, this is where it starts right here, this drum, spirit of it, grandpa like that, and I'm just glad to be here. So I'm going to turn this over to my my good brother here and let him kind of add on to our stories here.
Okay, I hope, Bobby. Well, again, I want to thank you guys for coming and sharing your evening here with us, and just want to thank my Bobby here for for the show here, and then my brother Everett for agreeing to come over here and being part of this. And I'm thankful to my dads that made their way over here, and to everybody that's here. I know you guys can't see, but there's quite a lot of folks here, and I'm thankful to all the folks that came over, and to everybody, and this is something that I guess you could say we kind of grew up with, even for us, and growing up with our dads and different ones, and just like everybody else, a lot of us are guilty. We've been around all that, and then. But it was good, wonderful time, and then, but at the same time, we wanted to try to do something to preserve this. But this wasn't just planned just last week. Like I said earlier, this was planned some time back, and we were supposed to have done this some years back. But nevertheless, here we are today, and taking care of that, So that's what we wanted to do, and I'm thankful for the history, the little bit of the knowledge, about it. And the song, and so that's why we wanted to invite some of my folks to come over here to sit around in this drum. We asked certain ones to come be a part of it, and they all came, and then all the other relatives that came to show up, and this is what we wanted to do, as not just as a family, but like for everybody to come over to be a part of this, and not just for our Cozad family, but like all the families that were mentioned, there's a lot that's a part of this, and as I grew up with it, and I've heard this music change throughout the years. A little time I've been around this drum, and then so I even got to see my dads in action here like that, different times, But that's how it always was, and we always took care of one another. And but even sometime through there, you might even learn something like that, Even through I got to learn a few things. So but I'm thankful for how it turned out here this evening. And to everybody that came, but I wanted to mention just a little more to appreciate that here like that, and to what's going to take place, and all the stories like that, and all these different locations that they were talking about, we were kind of laughing, but there's a lot of good memories at all these good places, crazy memories, however, So I know it's all good. All in all, it's all good. So I just wanted to express myself in a good way, and appreciate everybody that came to be a part of this here today, this evening. And it's a real nice evening here right now, with everything here. So I wanted to say about that much, I wanted to just acknowledge here like that, brother, and appreciate you, and like that, as my older brother, and so that's what I wanted to say, on this evening here. I just can't thank everybody enough for just coming over here for just a little bit of time here this evening, to try to do something here real nice. That's all we wanted to do like that, is just to help spread something real nice, real, something positive for our people like that, not just Kawa people, but for all of our Indian people to kind of learn something. That's what we wanted to do, is to share, So, and I had good folks like my grandpas and all that, and I got to hear them sing. Even some of them have composed songs for this purpose, and we sing them to this day, So all that, there's history behind it, just the music part too, I know we were talking about the history of 49, but even through the music, I know there's history. Even through our people, we have a lot of songs that have language in it, and some of them language I know is kind of crazy, but that's how them old people made it that way, and there was a reason for that, So, all them good things, we kind of grew up with, and kind of been around like that, So that's what I wanted to say to just a little bit here like that, through some of our music, our songs, our starting song like that. Everything has a starting song, I know. So, but through all that, we wanted to just express a little bit here this evening before we get started. So that's what I wanted to express, brother, a little bit. And I appreciate all my folks and family for coming and being here. So, thank you, brother.
Yeah, Indian country, boy. I wish you could see the crowd that we have here. All of our aunties, and mamas and sisters, and they came to support, and our brothers and nephews, and boy, like you say, it's a beautiful day here in Carnegie, Oklahoma, and I'm glad I got to be a part of this once again, and it's part of history. I'm glad to be in the history class today, and I got to hear some of the stories here that were told, and as a young boy too, like my brother here, I remember going to 49s, when I was 10, 11 years old, and tell us a quick story. I had a brother, a late brother, and his name was Johnny Whitecloud. I looked up to him, he was one of my idols as a fancy dancer, and boy, I used to just admire that guy, boy, he was a good dancer. Man, I thought he was, if I danced like him and walked like him, and ate supper like him, that I was going to be a good dancer, and my wife said, dang, he turned out like him, man. You shouldn't have been so much wanting to be like that guy, But I remember one time going to a 49, boy, my big brother, Johnny Whitecloud, said, come on, brother. He said, come hold the drum for me. I said, all right. Boy, I thought that was a big honor, And back then, when they sang, boy, they were serious about singing. And there was a good spirit there. They sang for the people. Boy, the ladies sang and the men sang. And, boy, just a good, clean fun, good music, And, boy, I was holding that drum there for my big brother Johnny. Boy, I was looking up at him when he was singing, And I thought, when I get older, and I'm going to sing 49s like him, And here he was singing like that. And damn, he pulled out one of them index cards like that. Boy, damn, he's looking on there. Damn, he seen that next song like that. She, boy, got his songs off that index card, boy. I said, I don't know about that, but but yeah, there's some of them good old stories, And as I look around our family here, I see some of our brothers, and sisters, and I remember their folks, And I was lucky enough to remember them, and being around them, excuse me, being around them and singing, and it was a good time, good feeling, and that's what we're talking about here. Talking about the history of the song, and singing, and it's good to sing with one another too, boy. Well, you get to stand by your brothers, and sing, make music, and make people holler and lulu, and man, boy, it gives you a good feeling, So I want to thank Everett once again. More multimedia, and go on there and like and subscribe, and boy, we're just having a good time here today.
Let's get a few of the younger guys over here. Get Junior and little Ronald and bring them over here. Let's stand up, talk to them about what.
All right, you guys, come on over here, guys. Some of our younger guys here, and let us share some stories of what you think about it, and that's the way, that's the way that we learned, boy. Our different ceremonies we had, and sometimes our uncles and grandpas throw us out there and make us talk, at the dinners, and that's how we learned how to talk, and always tell people, I'm not old, but I'm not young, and I'm kind of in that generation, Dad, where I kind of got to, share it with the younger ones, and kind of encourage them along, like that in a good way, So I want to call over my nephew here and have him get on the mic here. Okay. Stand up. Yeah.
They want to hear some 9 stories. Don't get me started.
Yeah, boy, when you get a bunch of singers together, man, pretty soon, man, the stories start flying around, boy. Damn. All right, get my nephew here, Ronald Manasseh. Come on over there, Sig, and share with us some of your stories here.
Well, I don't have too many, but all the stories I know there come from Walters. Being with my dad and my late dads, No Shame and Elron.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot, they made everybody like it. Mm-hmm. One time we was in that arena, and where they had the 9 at, and damn, the crowd was going. And then Dad Elron, he said, "Come on, boys, let's go back to the camp, to my grandma's camp." So I said, all right. So then we went back there, and then he was all drinking pop and stuff like that, and then he pulled out the extra drum. Then we started singing. Dang, that whole nine came back to the camp. Then I was like, God dang.
They don't like
And it made them like it. But that's probably one of the best ones that I could think of.
Oh, thank you, Sig. Yeah, boy, that's it, boy. Get a bunch of singers together, man. We'll sing anywhere, boy, and make everybody like it, boy. The water tower in Stroud. See them guys start damn trying to climb that water tower about daylight, boy. Damn. Crazy guys, boy.
I had a story about that one too. Dang,
Yeah. Keep it clean. Keep it clean. Yeah, these stories these guys are talking about, I don't know what they're talking about, you know. I never was at the 49, you know. I don't know what they're, but I heard about it, you know. Come on, Siggy, J.R. Ross over here, boy. He's got a lot of good stories. One of our top MCs here in the state of Oklahoma, and get him to come over and share a little bit with us.
Well, I can't say too much. So my in-laws are sitting there.
Yeah.
So I gotta behave, but I don't care about the internet. My in-laws, no. So, but yeah, like it was mentioned and stuff about the songs. That's what me as a singer, when I was younger and would sneak off to the nine, and I'd try to jump in there, try to sing. Of course, first song I could think of was English words, and shoot, we used to catch heck. Hey boy, don't be singing those too early, things like that, and so then we try to learn. I guess I don't know if we have an order, but those like daylight songs, and then even nowadays people sing I guess you round dance and all that, and so I would try to make it a point to try to learn these straight tunes, and there's a whole lot of pretty ones that don't even get sung anymore. And so even these drum contests, powwows, they have a 49 contest, and it seems like they sing the same old about 5 songs. There's a whole bunch of them, you know. They talked about Millard one time. I got the opportunity to hold the drum for him, kind of same way your story. And I was in awe. He just went one right after another. People got tired. They walk off. I was liking it for it. So, but I enjoyed it. I listened to. He never repeated a song. He just sang all night. And so those kind of things. That's what you know. I'm glad that they're going to do this recording to preserve, so that younger generations can learn it. Even a few times I've been head singer. I'll sing 49 towards the end because my kids, they learn all these northern songs, and they're pretty. They're real nice. They got all those round dance, but I always tell them, well, you guys are from Oklahoma. We got pretty songs too. You know, learn those. Don't go to the 9. Hey. But yeah, so yeah, all those spots, those you always hear crazy stories and stuff, fun times, you know, but it's not like that no more. You know, I always say that I was the last generation. I got a little glimpse of it, you know, where they would sing, enjoy, dance, and all that, and so that's what I was always happy about. I got to see a little bit of that. So yeah, that's all I want to say. So thank you.
Good, Sig. Yeah, that's the way, you know, our generation, you know, I was a part of that where I got to actually see good singers, you know. And like my uncles here, you know, well, they're real knowledgeable, you know, church songs, you know, church hymns, you know, peyote meetings, you know, and powwow songs, you know, and even 49 songs. And I was real fortunate to be around them, watch them, you know, and learn these songs. And boy, it's just a wonderful thing. So I always tell people when I MC at different powwows, you know, that these gentlemen, they have a God-given talent. You know, the Creator shows them songs, you know, and they make songs for individuals and powwow songs, intertribal. So I'm always glad, you know. All right, we had a request there, Dad. Maybe we could talk about that starting song, you know, and when we get through with that, you know, a little bit about Blackjack Daisy.
Okay, now the starting song, or what we say, the starting song. Okay, from what I've been told this by my late dad, Bill Coombs Jr., was that it's not really a starting song. Could be any song as long as you roll the drum and you can start with that song. But this is the one. How it come about was that Indian House did a recording here down at my uncle's place, and there was my dad. Well, he's my uncle, my other uncle Ralph Cote, and Gregory Hompe, and then there was another one. That's from that recording. That's where that starting song came from. So with that, that's what we use all the time. Even myself, when we come together, well then that's the song we use. But when we used to go to these 49s and everything, we'd be there before anybody else did. And ain't nobody's there to hear what we're gonna sing and all that. So we just grabbed whatever one that we kind of thought kind of fit the deal, fit the business. Well, then we grabbed that. But this starting song that we're talking about, or that you want to hear about, well, that's as far as I can go with that. And it just so happened that my dad told me, he said, well, with that, it was just something that your uncle thought about, and that's the one he sang, and we all knew it, so that's where it came from. Okay, now the other song that y'all are inquiring about is Blackjack Daisy. Out here at Greg's Corner, I had an uncle, and they named it after him. And what it was that, well, he had another family, and he had another family. So with that, well, then he didn't have no home, so he more or less stayed out there in a car. And so with that, well, then everybody would say, well, let's go to Greg's. Greg's, where? Well, he's parked out there. Let's go out there and visit him, you know. So they would go out there. So that's where Greg's Corner came from. That's where the name of it came from, Greg's Corner. And so with that, you know, that's the only thing I know about that song. And then there's other songs. There's another one that's same way, Blackjack Daisy is what they call it. And they would I guess these guys, they would kind of more or less make fun of one another, teasing one another. And so they would kind of more or less I guess their girlfriends or whatever, they just kind of like add this, and that's that Blackjack Daisy. That's how that came about. And then there's some other songs there that I guess one time I had an uncle. I guess he got broken hearted and everything, and so he's kind of feeling bad, and so I guess he was kind of singing the song to himself and everything, and these guys, they were standing around and they heard it. And so with that, well, then they kind of more or less, they kind of remembered that song, and so they'd sing it, you know. And it's, well, we could know it as My One and Only, you know. Although you're living with another, you know, that's that song. Then there's another song that I had my own words to. And what I was doing is I was teasing my uncle at that time, because we was at camp at the Indian Fair. And my mom, she said, "Did you learn anything?" I said, "Well, yeah, I did." She said, "Well, what did you learn?" I said, "Well, I learned a song, you know." And so she said, "Well, sing it to me." I said, "Okay." So I sang it to her, and then I started putting my words in there. My one and only. See, my sweetheart don't love me anymore because my uncle don't love me anymore because he loves Lucy. I don't care. I got another one. Hey, yi, hi, yi, hi, yi. She can do whatever she can do. I can do what I want to. I don't care. I got. And she said, "Don't you be singing that." No. I said, "Well, yeah, Mom, that's what I learned." She said, "No, but it's songs like that, different ones. They learn different ones, and they put their their own words in it. Like there's this one. Let's see. Soldier boy, it's a, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya. No, it's I can't. It's when you think of something, you're gonna sing it, but then that tune gets away from you, and sometimes that's just how it is. Soldier boy, come back to soldier boy. I'm sorry, I can't put the words the way that I want to. Soldier boy, come take me back to Goldie Boat to buy some boat. Hey yo, hey yo. That was I had a nephew that was stationed down there at Fort Sill, and he was in the military, and then we'd go after him. And that when we was going, I said, "Hey, Siggy," he said, "Yeah." I said, "I got a song for you." He said, "Okay." So I would sing that song. Soldier boy, come take me back to Goldie Boat to buy some boat. Hey yo, hey yo. The boy, he was liking it, boy. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. One real quick story there before we go. Dad, I did that one time too. You know, we're going to a powwow and one of my nephews got kicked out. You know, and I don't know which one it was or which wife it was at that time. I don't know. Then she kicked him out, boy. Then we was going to that powwow. Boy was in the van and boy had his head down, you know, trying to cry, you know. And I said, "What's wrong, nephew?" He said, "Well, I got kicked out." I said, "Well, don't worry about it." I said, "You'll be all right." So while we was going down the road, you know, I had that 2 or 3 in the morning shift, you know, boy, I was driving, boy, like that, boy. Then that song hit me. So I put words in this song, this tune that I made. And I try to make him feel better, you know. When you left, you said we're through. Now I sing for someone new. You go your ways and I'll go mine. Oh yeah, my way's the 49. God damn, shit, he got healed, Dad. Damn, it was instant, boy.
I've been to a 49 on the West Coast on the beach. Back in my day, I was over there, and then I went to Florida on the beach. 49 there too, coast to coast, and I never did get to. Well, I went to Washington State, but I didn't get to go on the beach up there because it was too cold. And then same way San Diego, I didn't. So, but them other two, I can say I honestly been there. I haven't been to Maine. I haven't. That's the only thing I haven't been to Maine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, we're getting ready to sing them songs? Okay. Starting song and then Blackjack Daisy. All right, singers, come on over there. I think they want you guys to come over here and set up here. And, you know, we talk about these songs, you know, and I think it means more than if you turn right around and you hear them. And then you're going to go, oh, yeah. So that's what we're talking about here. And this is history here. So I'm going to get out of the way and let these guys sing here.
It's getting real here in a minute.
Come on, ladies. All my lady singers. Come on, guys. Mom, bring all the ladies. We're going to sit over behind this over here. Sit over behind here. Yeah, I'm in a row right here. Yeah, come straight this way, guys. Bring your over here.
Hold up.
49 style. We'll kind of get back here in the back, kind of stagger around a bit, kind of make it awkward.
Somehow.
Jason.
Can you help it?
If you just sit down. I know. She doesn't want.
Yeah, we'll stop after that. We'll jump in the water. Just up to. Yeah. Start in time. Yeah, you rest up and get ready for the recording. I'm gonna make a run.
All right, Indian Country. Hope you enjoyed that. I want to thank you once again for coming in, tuning in with us on our second episode right here in Carnegie, Oklahoma. And we're singing some good 49 songs. Thank all the singers, all the women folks here, and all of our visitors that came over. I just want to say thank you once again. And hit like and subscribe here on more multimedia right here on In the Spotlight with RG. We're closing out right now. And see you later there, Indian Country. Good evening.